Hey, how you doing there again, folks? Me again, of course. Brandon Wenzel. Come back at you. Another offering. Off my sampler platter. Yes, indeed, folks. Sampler video series videos I've been doing for a little while now. Go over there, try out food and drink items. I eat stuff, I drink stuff, then, folks, I'm going to talk about stuff. I'm going to let you know all that you need to know about hopefully delicious stuff. That time I'm doing this, folks, I'm not going to lie. I am extremely tired right now. But we'll get to that. Folks, it's super simple format. I'm going to go over there and try out food and or drink items for you. Whilst I'm doing so, I'm yammering on about it for a bit. Whilst I'm doing all that, I'm inside my truck. And whilst I'm doing all that, folks, I'm wearing grody work clothes. Typically, when I'm inside the truck and I'm wearing grody work clothes, that means I was on my way home from work and I found some shit to review for you. And that's absolutely the case today. But, as I mentioned, I'm extremely tired today. And this isn't the first time I've done a review while I was sleep deprived, but this is close to, if not the most, this is definitely the closest I've been to just being like ready to just straight pass out while I'm doing this. So we'll see how this goes. Now, because what ended up happening was I kind of got scheduled to come into work when I wasn't expecting to. There were Easter festivities that I'd been partaking in all day. It basically amounted to me getting an hour and a half worth of sleep before I got into work. Ugh. So, on my way home, I figured I still want to try to get in a review. I was going to review these new Starbucks things that I saw, but I couldn't find them at the station I went to. So instead, I decided I'm going to review, boom, Starbucks Mocha Frappuccino. But what I'm actually going to be reviewing and comparing against is, boom, from 7 Select, which is the 7-Eleven brand. This is their Mocha Iced Cappuccino Chilled Coffee Drink. Ooh. So yeah, this is their knockoff version of this. Let's get a thing for the thing before I forget, because again, super tired, and we'll just go, ha 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 ha. And yeah, we'll try out some knockoff Frappuccino. Now, I will say, there's a little bit of difference in terms of height, but like they're about the same amount of overall liquid. The 7-Eleven brand one was over $1 cheaper. Plus, you could get 2 for $5 if you bought 2. So let's try this one first. Let's try the 7 Select stuff and see how it is. I actually been kind of meaning to do this one anyway, so. It smells basically like a Frappuccino. One thing I'm immediately noticing, despite my efforts, and I did shake this up quite a bit before I got this, there's still a fair amount of sort of like mocha pieces you can kind of see. Let's see if we can get that a little bit better. But that's interesting, because one thing with the Starbucks stuff is as years have gone by, they've gotten a lot better about the shaking. You know, you used to really have to shake them up to properly get everything. These days, you hardly have to shake at all. You know, it's still probably better too, but... Okay. Alright. Let's give it a go again. Yeah, it's still got the flecks of the chocolate, so I mean, that just is what it is. You saw me. It's perfectly okay. The mocha flavor is fine. Like, I mean, I'll say this, it drinks nice and smooth. You know, there's no issue there. The cappuccino flavor it's fine. It's not, it tastes kind of cheap. Like, and I did a comparison review maybe like a couple years ago or something like that with some peppermint mocha stuff against like the Starbucks version. And that had kind of a similar thing. Now, I will say it doesn't taste like terribly cheap. It's not like, you know, dollar brand or dollar store brand cheap or anything. But it definitely doesn't have quite the pedigree that the Starbucks does. But again, it drinks nice. The flavors are there. I would like to see more from the Mocha, but you do get a little bit of that Mocha sort of essence. Takes on a little bit of a bitterness at the end. Not strikingly so, but it's definitely there and noticeable. So, okay. It's not a terrible option, Again, especially if you're trying to save a few bucks, and who isn't these days. But let's try out the OG, Alright. See, that has a much richer smell. So, like, right off the bat, it just has, like, a stronger sort of, like, coffee hit. Oh, wow, that's not even close. Yeah. And it's actually been a while. Like, I do occasionally drink Frappuccinos. I used to drink them a lot when I was younger. These days, more energy drinks and stuff like that. But, yeah, it's been a while since I've had, especially, like, a Mocha Frappuccino. Usually, if I do get one, like, I'll either get one of the holiday ones, or I'll get, like, a vanilla. But, yeah, like, that, the flavor profiles on those are night and day. Like, yeah, they're both doing something similar, but you can tell with the Starbucks, it's more coffee forward, and the Mocha has just, like, a greater impact on the overall flavor, whereas with the 7 Select, it'll do. It'll do, pig, it'll do. But yeah, and it's even, I would say, although this drink's smooth, I would say I think this drink's a little bit smoother. I think the coffee flavor is nicer. And while you do get a little bit of sort of a little bit of a darkness from the Mocha when that kicks in, it's not, you don't get like a bitterness, the way that you do with the 7 Select. So yeah, I mean, all around, that's just a way better experience, honestly. And, it's kind of unfortunate thing is that, I'm sort of, when I do these reviews of like these like sort of knockoff products, I'm honestly usually kind of rooting for them because, I mean, hey, a cheaper alternative, who doesn't like that? But in this instance, I mean, between the two, if it isn't evident enough, the Starbucks clearly wins. Like, it just, and say what you will about Starbucks, but like, it tastes more refined. It tastes like a product that's been out for a while, that they've tweaked and, gotten it to where they want it to be. Whereas with the 7 Select stuff, it tastes like what it is. It's a budget option. Again, it's not again, to sort of emphasize, it's not a terrible option or anything. It's tasty enough. It does what it needs to do, but you do taste the savings, So, I mean, 2 questions have to be asked. Would I get either of them again? Would I recommend either of them? And the reality is that, I mean, yes and yes to both. It just depends on circumstance. I will say this, for me personally, I would, because again, I don't get Frappuccinos all that often, and I don't really need to buy them typically in great supply. So I would go with the Starbucks the vast majority, like 9 times out of 10, because it's an overall better experience. And while, yeah, it does cost a little bit more, to be sure, again, just for me, with the amount of, or with the frequency with that I go over there and actually partake in one of these, I'm willing to absorb that dollar here or there, but that's where the 7 Select comes into play. Because there are those times when, like, especially if I'm going over there, maybe I'm taking like a bit of a trip or something like that, I want the extra caffeine on hand. The 7 Select version isn't terrible. There's like nothing that I actively dislike about it. Again, the bitterness is a little bit slightly off-putting, but, not to any significant degree. I still think it has its place. But again, for me personally, I would do the Starbucks way more often than I would do the 7 Select. But if I'm recommending it, at the end of the day, It's going to come down to, just your personal preference when it comes to, and again, hey, saving money is good. But it's going to come down to, where you're willing to sacrifice. And that's part of the reason why I do these sort of comparison reviews against these budget brands, because, you know, some of them are astonishingly, really solid, and they hold up against their, more names or name brand version. Other ones like this, they're not a bad product, but they're not doing the same job as the real deal stuff. And so that's why, with this, like, I'd still recommend it to a point, but it is just that thing of, again, like, you're not going to get this, the exact same experience for, over $1 less. You're just not in this instance. But it's not a terrible drink, and if you don't mind that, somewhat step down, or, maybe you just prefer the flavor anyway, then yeah, because again, it's not a bad product. It's just, again, it's definitely a difference. But 5 things before I get out of here. Have yourself a great rest of your day, spectacular rest of your week, monumental rest of your month, stupendous rest of your year, folks. Go over there and have yourselves a truly mocha-tastic rest of your life. Although, again, I like mocha to a point, but final 2 things. Number 1, try to bring some positivity into the world. It's not always possible. It is, however, always appreciated. But what you do can't do it all the time. I know I can't do it all the time. Here's what you're going to do, folks. You're going to try not to be an asshole. Now, folks, it's not always the easiest thing in the world to not be an asshole. Trust me. I know it. I live it. I'm out there every day with you in it. Life can be stressful and frustrating and just bullshit sometimes, folks. And when we find ourselves in situations where we have to deal with said bullshit, it's important we go over there, whenever possible, take a step back, try to mitigate the level of assholishness in our lives, hopefully do better for ourselves and for those around us. Very final thing, folks, do the thing. Whatever the thing is for you, that's what I want you to go out and do. Folks, what's your personal favorite flavor of Frappuccino? I mean, for me, like, peppermint mocha, probably for me. I miss when they used to do just just straight peppermint ones, though. Because they used to have that before they did the peppermint mocha. And they kind of shifted it out. Which, I'd probably prefer it, but I'd like to have it as an occasional option. But let me know. Hit me up in the comments. Anyway, bye. Hey, I didn't pass out.